Alright, Shalom. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Alright. Honors to you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. This is gonna be a video, man, on something that's beyond mad, beyond imagine, and beyond belief. Alright. And this is just a case to show you just how crazy Esau's got, man. Right, because you don't see no so-called black Negro doctors out there in this picture that you see out here. And you know that the doctors, man, that where they learnt this from, they learnt all of this so-called medical information, this medical knowledge that they have, the degrees and so on and so forth. They would have got them out there in the so-called Western Hemisphere, man. And that's why the scripture says America is likened unto Babylon, but furthermore, Babylon was likened unto the country that poureth out our abomination, of which what I'm about to read here is an abomination in and of itself. Alright? Although you can say, the argument is, where's the law on it? But this is beyond not being expedient. This is just madness. Alright? This is just so far gone, right, that the Lord has to come back and destroy this place. So, without much further ado, I'll get into the article. So it says here, he's smiling, big, first penis, right, transplant recipient impregnates girlfriend. Alright? So what happened here was, I don't know too much about the history. In fact, let me read the next bit. Right, it says a South African man who received the world's first ever successful penile transplant conceived a baby with his partner just weeks after the operation, to the surprise of his doctor. Now, first and foremost, you got to extrapolate the information right there, man. You really think that you really think his woman was sleeping with him, man? Alright? He just had to the surprise of all the doctors and so on and so forth. You really think it's his baby, man? Alright, let's get serious. Okay? Now, the second thing you got to think about, what kind of decrepit society do you have to live in? Right? Where if the worst comes to the worst, right, let's say, you're a man of war, alright, and should something to happen to your member, alright, then by the will of the Most High, you're gonna have to live with it, man. You don't go out there and say, oh, I'm gonna get another man's penis and then sew it onto my penis, man. That's completely out, man. That don't make no sense on any level. Okay? But that's the society we're living in right now, man. Alright? And this is another example of how the elites conduct themselves, man. They want you to do whatever you want to do, man. See, they want you to do as that will. But see, do as that will and order out of chaos are two things that almost contradict themselves, but innately, right, they work for the elites agenda. See, the elites push this do whatever you want to do agenda, so ultimately they can create chaos out of you doing what you want to do. And in order for that chaos to be created, for that order to be created, they need that chaos. So they let you do whatever you want. That's why they feed you with all of these philosophies that you could be a man, you could be an athlete, right? A so-called a man of man. And when you're done with that, you can change yourself to be a woman, man. All right. Should you blow your nuts off, you can get another dude. You can get another dude's nuts and store them onto you. See, that's the agenda of these elites, man. To have those philosophies, right? Those principles, right? So engraved within the masses of the people that they think it's a normal thing, right? Therefore, are creating chaos. And out of chaos, you're gonna have to bring order, right? But they want to establish their own order. But guess what? You're not gonna establish your own order. The Most High set you up to create chaos, right? So people will know that you're the chaotic man. Alright, the bringer of chaos. Alright, but once that chaos is created, the Most High is going to do away with you, bind you and burn you, all of you Edomites and all of your philosophies and your when we say philosophies, your doctrine and the way you conduct yourself, and your pride, alright, and your wickedness, man, right, and your debauchery, man. The Most High is going to bind and burn all of that, and he's going to do away with all of that, man. Alright, and he's going to create his own order. Starting off with the 12 tribes, starting off with Yahushua, King David, right, and the 12, All right, right on down to the to the elite, to the last man of 144,000 of the government, man, the elect of Israel. All right, he says he's definitely smiling big. Right, he says he's proud. Right, he's also a little bit shy. Says Andre van where Merwe, right, from the University of Stellenbosch, right, who led the team during the 9-hour procedure during last September. Right, I don't want to get all up into the article and all of that, but look at that, pure Edomites and their Edomite philosophies, man. Man, this is all complete madness, man, on so many levels. On so many levels. First, you ain't supposed to be making no incisions or anything like that. I don't know what kind of manner of man, right, sits there and gets his member replaced, man. All right, and is comfortable doing it, man. All right, just the thought of you getting kicked down there is bad enough, but to take the whole thing off and sew another thing on, man, that's complete. That's beyond reason, man. All right, so what? Now he busts a nut. Is it his sperm? Is it his kid? Right, that's all things that run through my mind. All of that, man. It's not his member. So technically, is it his kids? Right? See what kind of confusion and what kind of chaos, right? That comes about when you have the devil in rulership, man. Excuse me. That's what happens when you have the devil in rulership, man. Madness like that. Okay. So now this is the scriptures. This is the book of Amos, the 9th chapter and the 8th verse. All right. It says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord power upon the sinful kingdom." So all of this is wickedness, man. All right. On so many different levels, man. It's just straight up wickedness, man. It's completely out of order, man. And guess what the Lord did last time? This is the most wickedest it's ever been last time, right? Last time the Most High had it to wait, you had the flood. Now he's going to have to burn this place because too much shit is defiled, man. All right? It says, "Behold, the eyes of the Lord power upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy from off the face of the earth. Saving utterly, I will not destroy the house of Jacob." So the only thing that's going to exist after this is the house of Jacob, man. You right? And everybody else that survives the nuclear war that's going to come about by way of Russia. And if you watch the news, man, Russia's been up in their nuclear forces, man. Right? They prepare like 40 intercontinental ballistic missiles and all of that, man. Right? And you got America out there, on the verge of sending their F-22s, right, to quote unquote deter Russia. But I don't know how you're gonna fucking deter Russia with 2 F-22s, man. F-22s, we watch them war movies, man. When you send them F-22s, they do nothing but drop nukes, man. An F-22 is like a $500 million plane, man. You don't send a $500 million plane on a couple of them as a deterrent. All right, you send them as a objective means, man. You do that in order to execute an agenda. That's what you do when you send some F-22s, man. Right? You don't play with some F-22s, man. But they're sending them planes out there to Russia. All right, and Russia's up in their intercontinental ballistic missiles and ICBMs. All right, all to fulfill what is spoken about in the scriptures as a result of your pride, man. All right, because that's pride that gets a man to think he could do that, and you can see it here, man. He says he's proud. All right, he says it straight up, man. Right, it says there. Excuse me, I got the sniff. I got the allergies. It's the summer. I got the fever. All right, the hay fever. All right. So it says there, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, and it shall surely destroy you." So you got dudes out there that will have no problem with that. They won't see nothing wrong with that. They'll read it and they'll be like, "Yeah, man, you had to do what you got to do, man." And that's the mentality of the vast majority of you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. You've been so subverted, man, to where you don't have no principles, right? You sleep with another man's woman, right? You do all kind of wickedness, man. You don't believe in the Most High, or just completely and utterly wicked, and that's why the scripture says in the book of I believe it's Isaiah the 6th chapter, right, or it might be the 3rd chapter. The precept slips me right now. It says Israel's laden with iniquity, man. We're people laden with iniquity, like like you had some potatoes, man, and you laden it with gravy. That's likened unto the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and the iniquities they have over. Okay, all right. So this is back in the book of Micah. All right, even with a sword destruction. All right. Let me jump to the next precept right now. Right quick, since Jeremiah the 51st chapter on the first verse says, "Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them, I will rise up a destroying wind." So to wipe off all of this madness that you have out here, right, perpetuated by principally by America, right, and now having to go all over the world, but principally it's led by America. All right, the Most High is going to raise up a destroying wind, and that's what the Lord's raising up right now with the situation that you have out there in the Middle East. Right? It says, "And I will send I'll send unto Babylon famines that will fan her, and they shall empty her. For the day of trouble shall be so day of trouble shall the day of trouble they shall be against her round about." So you got it to where now, these countries are starting to realize these Americans are devils, man. All right, but they don't realize just how much, right, the American agenda has infiltrated their so-called populace, man. All right, it says, "And against him that bendeth, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth up his brigandine, and spare ye not the young men, and destroy ye utterly all of our hosts." So America's gonna be utterly destroyed, man. It says, "Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans," and it says, "And they that are thrust through in her streets." It says, "For Israel has not been forsaken, right, nor Judah of his God, right, of his power, or the more, right, of the Lord of hosts, all right, though their lands were filled with sin against the Holy One." It says, "Flee ye out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul, be not cut off with her." So first thing you gotta do, man, you gotta see this for the madness that it is. But ultimately, the Most High, this is not flee as in, get yourself a backpack and that, get your passport and your money together and that, and leave the country. I mean that, man. Right? To leave it spiritually, mentally, get back into the scriptures. Because when you go into the book of Revelations, man, it says, we're gonna be called out of Babylon, right? It's gonna be like, it's gonna say, chariots gonna come up there, and they're gonna, you'll hear the sound coming from the chariot saying, "Come out of my people," right? So you're gonna be called out of Babylon. Okay, it says, excuse me, right? So it says there, "And deliver every man his soul, and be not cut." excuse me, "and be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense." It says, excuse me, "Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, and made all the earth drunken, and the nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad." And this is madness right here. All right. So with that, I say double honestly, apostles of GMS, honestly brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.